Welcome, everybody. This is the solution artist, Bobby F. Parihar here, coming to you guys on a very, very powerful day today. I am super blessed to have my brother Tariq, EQ Amawi, with me. What we do inside of the Solution Artist podcast is it's either one of a couple things. Either I'm just going off and talking by myself. I'm interviewing someone that I have a lot of respect and admiration for, or I'm basically just talking to my audience. This is going to be a combination of a couple of things. I wanted to have this interview with Tariq for a while, and ever since I met this guy, he just stood out. Okay, he stood out. And I had the honor of working with you and Chanel when I first met you guys as clients of mine. And from that conversation, you guys, I'd like to say that I was somewhat responsible for the success that you've had, but I have to put up my hands and say you guys are absolute juggernauts. You guys are absolute champions. And there was something about you guys that was supposed to be successful. I just got a chance to be there with you as we were launching this. So today, when we get together on this and we basically put this together, we're gonna have a lot of fun. If you guys are watching us on the Go Live inside of Facebook, feel free to join us in Zoom if you want to have a bit of interaction. We're gonna open this up for questions, just in case anybody wants to ask the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. Or you could just basically cuddle up with us on Facebook. But this is the interview that is going to really change it all for you guys. Tariq, if I can, I'm not sure which one we should use. I think this is you here with the, can I unmute you? Or let's see if I can unmute you. Can I hear you? Just a sound test? No, I can't hear you. Just going to see if I can unmute you. I've got you unmuted here, but it looks like, I can't hear you. Do you want to do a sound test? Nope, nothing yet. Might be down at the bottom around the microphone mute button, just to arrow up and make sure you've selected the right microphone in case you have one plugged in, like if it's through the headphones. Let's see, try it one more time. And while we're waiting for him to come up, if you want to just try to see, I'll see if I can try to unmute you too. It won't let me unmute you, but let me see if I can try it again. No, can't hear you yet. I'll let you work on the sound bites and see if you can get the sound working there. Sometimes if you've got it plugged in, it could just think that you're using one microphone, but really it needs to be using the other. And also my volume is working. So, and I did hear you before. So what I'll do is I want to just kind of tee this up for everybody. If you still on FB live, I don't see it. You have me selected mute. Oh, okay. You're on 88 now. Try that. Let's see if I can unmute you. How about now?
You want to use that one?
Yeah, I can hear you. Great to connect with you, man. And I'm just going to see, are we still live on Facebook? I can see you on Facebook. Yeah, we're still here on Facebook. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm really good. The only thing is you've unmuted me on the laptop. And so I'm hearing myself as an echo.
How about now?
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
No. What I mean is 88 and unmute Tariq EQ Amawi.
So you want me to unmute Tariq EQ Amawi and mute 88? Now I can't hear you. Here we go.
1 second.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. Let's do that.
Great to hear you, man. Absolutely awesome to connect with you. Sometimes we got technical difficulties. I'll just edit that out of the recording. It's no big deal. But blessed to have you here, bro. I'm super excited for this conversation. I absolutely admire you, dude. Like, I remember when we first met, the power in this guy's voice and the power in your conviction, we were going over different names that we could come up with. And this EQ came up eventually. Like, we were like trying this and that and this and that, and nothing seemed to fit. When we put on the EQ, suddenly something turned on inside of you, and you were kind of like, hey, emotional quotient. That's like the IQ for your heart, or like IQ for your emotions. And then at the same time, the vibration that you took, because what we do is we crank up the dial and we find a way for wealth to express inside of you. the vibration that you took was literally the top end, the most powerful, like the most wealthiest, expansive, the most global vision that we could have. And you were, and I'm like trying to scare you a little bit, and you're like, give it to me. That's the one. That's the one that I need. I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna make it happen. Because there's this massive level of conviction, and I'm like, whoa, okay, I kind of need to step back a little bit because this guy's gonna blow, and he's like a dragon waiting to come out. And I remember this one comment that you made with us when we were working on your chart. You have a bunch of middle names. Legally, you get it happened that you got all of your grandfather's middle names, and you're like, dude, it feels like I'm carrying a bag of bricks with me, and by unloading it all, it was like suddenly like this feeling. And I hate to get too specific because some people may not get this reference, but there's this series called Dragon Ball Z, and Goku is like the master warrior, and he goes and trains on a planet that has like 100 times the gravity. And then when he figures out his powers and figures himself out, he gets unleashed from that planet and gets sent back, and he can basically fly because he's like super crazy and super powerful. And, you know, he gets a chance to live at that level. And I like to think that the same kind of thing is happening inside of your life. And we're right at that moment where we get a chance to see what happens now as you release and unleash from a bunch of that energetic weight that may have been weighing you down. Now you've got clear skies and open skies to do it. So, I mean, I couldn't say enough great things about you. Another really, really cool example I have about this guy was I was checking out my Facebook stories, and then he starts talking about this this punching a wall thing. And then it was in the same set of videos that you were also cooking a plant-based pasta. And I'm like, dude, this guy's got like all kinds of stuff that he's going on with. And like, if these were two completely unrelated things to each other, and also completely unrelated from your power as an entrepreneur. And so I'm like, this is a multi-dimensional, multifaceted character that we've got going on. And it was nice to be able to see that, because on one side, you were talking about the Shaolin monks. And I'm like, what? That's super spiritual. That's like, this guy's a warrior. And on the other side, he's also got a gentle heart. He's not killing any animals to make his pasta. And just so you know, since that video, I've made like 4 or 5 different plant-based pastas. And I've like gone and I'm like starting to punch the door frame, right, where the wood is there. Because I'm like, if I punch the wall, I'm going to punch a hole in it. And like, I had to make sure that I found a beam, a support beam to like throw the punch. And I'm like, oh, this hurts. This is like, and you're like, you're basically got to build and break and build and break. And that's kind of like a really good metaphor for life, for sure. So yeah, and needless to say, man, like your power, your expression, the way that you deal in life, the way you guys wait till you hear this guy start saying stuff. He's like a poet. He's like the way you speak, the words that you use, it inspires me. And I'm super blessed to have you inside of our community. I'm super blessed to have you as a rising leader. You guys are about to approach your 6A2 something now. There's like, you guys have hit leadership ranks, you know, in lightning speeds. You guys have grown into an absolute powerhouse. You've been featured on webinars. Now you get a chance to be on side of my podcast. So I'm super blessed to have you, man. But would love to hear a little bit about you. I guess we should start this off by getting you to introduce yourself a little bit to the group, and you know, sharing with us a little bit about, you know, what makes Tariq Tariq and where you came from, and on to you, man.
Wow, man. For once, I'm actually at a loss for words. That was such a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much, my friend. I've just got to say, I've been super excited about being here and sharing the space with you. You have such an infectious, positive energy that I just want everyone to experience your gifts, truly.
Thanks, buddy.
So, who am I? Okay, so I would say a way of summing this up would be that I was a kid who believed he could be anything. And then because I was young and impressionable and under the influence of society and other kind of authoritative figures, I started to fall into the status quo and do what everyone else said would make me happy and do what everyone else said would work out for me, and start getting serious and getting real and growing up and all of that stuff. And then, let's say, 9 years of healing in Bali, some plant medicine ceremonies, discovering the secret and discovering manifestation and really reconnecting with that concept that we are creators and that we do have a creative ability. We do have agency in our lives. We are able to influence and shape reality. It is malleable. It is not fixed. It is not rigid. And I've been walking this path of learning how to reconnect with myself as I was when I was a 10-year-old, that limitless kid who believed he could be anything, because I lost sight of that. It got shrouded in these layers of masks that we wear through our adolescence because we're trying to fit in and we're trying to conform and we're trying to be a part of everything else, but really we are tearing ourselves apart in the process. And I would say over the last few years, I've really been reconnecting with that truth, the essence of who I am. And since I've been doing that, all of these things are coming in from everywhere. And that's why you see me 1 minute punching a wall, and another minute cooking a pasta, and another minute getting into acting, and another minute doing some movement. Because these are all things that I loved when I was younger. And rather than having the restraint of other people say, well, you can pursue this, you can't pursue this, I'm like, why don't I just do what makes me happy and keep pursuing what I love and become so good at what I love that I can start to create value out of it in the lives of others.
Dude, that's epic. We collaborated on a book as well. Congratulations for becoming an author.
Absolutely. The new wave. Yes.
Unreal. Can you believe it? Us, Alex Lambert, he put together a group, and it inspired you to also want to do the same thing too. And I'm super excited for your project. I'm not sure because you were kind of like hinting towards it. Can we like quickly spend 2 minutes talking about the project that you're going to be creating, like the vision, and sort of speak that into the universe, or are we too soon for that?
No. This is a perfect time, actually, to say that. So people who know me would say I'm a word alchemist. I love mixing words in empowering ways. And the name of the new book is Understanding the Masculive. So not masculine, but masculive, because I feel men in today's society haven't had that compassionate voice that is needed to usher their true emotional depths out into the world. We've been repressed and suppressed and told to keep our emotions to ourselves and that they're girly and that we need to, put our big boy pants on and all of this kind of stuff, which is basically indoctrinated emotional numbness. And because we have an inability to connect with our own hearts and ourselves, we therefore lack the tools to be able to connect with other people in partnership, in romantic relationship. And so really healing that core and realizing that all forms of expression, whether it's crying or laughing or an orgasm, these are just forms of human expression. They are not gender specific. And so the Masculive is about men sharing the challenges that they faced as men trying to fit into an overly macho society, where in truth they were probably very tender emotional beings as children, but had that kind of beaten out of them, sometimes literally. And so it's many men sharing their voice, so we hear how men have had their challenges in completely different ways than women have. And also, the book is also going to feature some stories of women who have had traumatic pasts. Maybe they've been sexually assaulted, but they don't blame the man. They realize that the problem is an endemic, systemic one. It's not actually because that guy, it's because of the way that that guy was raised, the way that that guy was educated or miseducated. So I believe it's a very powerful and important book, especially at this particular juncture in time. I feel like women's circles have been around for, a few decades, but really giving men a platform where other men can read that book and pick out a story from any one of the men who are in it and go, he's going through what I'm going through, or he went through what I went through. And so that place of common ground can start to bring about a new era of compassion and kindness, because I believe we are called humankind, not human cruel, for a reason.
That's awesome, dude. And I really believe in that. I've actually been working on my alignment series. We've done the men's alignment, the women's alignment. I come from a numerological perspective where I look at the numbers 1 to 9. I see a masculine energy and a feminine energy. And just to be fair, your life, your soul, your expression doesn't care whether you're feminine or masculine. You're going to have mixes of both. And as we've been growing through from the caveman days where man was, grunt and alpha, and the woman would be the gatherer around the fire to help the children, these roles are completely, like, they're completely switched now. Like, women want to stay at home and make wealth. Men want to be stay-at-home dads too. We want to have that vibration of emotional intelligence that comes into us as well. And it's not a bad thing to express your feelings. So I appreciate that as a life path 5. And I hate to put your numbers out for here, but usually I do this. I kind of look at the vibration that you're experiencing. You're a warrior, and to think that you're pioneering a new version of what evolution is going to be like. You're going to build a massive following. Like, I hope you understand that, especially with the vibration that you've chosen, the path that you've chosen in your life. It's a big deal. It's a big thing, especially in my world. And not many people are going to stand up the test. And, we get challenged repeatedly, consistently, where parts of us are getting cut down so that we can get to that real strength, that real core that goes through us. So I'd love to spend a couple minutes just talking about challenge, adversity, how to push through. Like, you've studied martial arts, I understand. I remember seeing a video. Sorry?
Yeah, so when I was much younger, I was actually competing in martial arts in the States, but I mean, that really was in childhood. And then I would say in the last few years, it's been coming back, but under a different guise. Now it's more about learning how to channel energy through my body. So it's less about physical fighting and more about learning to understand the flow of energy and be able to move it effectively through the body.
That's awesome. So because that's the difference between martial and arts, right? Like, we've got the part that needs it for the attack and the part that needs it also for the evolution of it. Like, there's that, you see it in the movies where the old guy's sitting in the mountain and he can just sort of flick the guy away, and like with one little flick he's got so much power. And then you see the other guy's like, he's like trying to do all this, and then he gets owned on. And it's that evolution of power that we're talking about, that you are the pioneer for that. So I appreciate that, because creating this alliance and this connection, it was brought to me for a reason. I was brought to you for a reason. We're entrusted with because 20 years is going to go by. And next thing you know, we're going to have a new generation, a new wave, if you will, of entrepreneurs and leaders and thought leaders and children that are born. It's tough because we see a lot of this single mother thing where the women are like, I'm out. I don't need to take this anymore. I'm going to raise my kids. And so we have a generation of men that are being raised without their fathers and without their leaders. And we have to stand up for that, and to be that conscious level of energy that's got that iron fist, that velvet glove, that feeling of being firm, but also soft. And knowing we have a backbone, but we also have muscle and soft tissue that's strong enough for a hug and strong enough to stand its ground, and to find a hybrid, not a compromise, but an evolution where they both exist. The human body's done it. Why shouldn't we do it on the psychological level? And that's why one of the really big reasons I believe in you guys is for sure. And it almost makes me feel, and I don't hate to say this, but I know it's going to be kind of weird for some people to experience this. It almost feels like you guys are from the future, you and Chanel. The energy because the stuff that she posts and the stuff that you speak of, it's almost like you guys are aliens or future-ready technology. I'm not sure what you want to call it, but you're not normal. This is not a normal thing that you got, and you're in a different part of the world as well too. And I just like to think that there's something future-ready about you guys. And I'm curious, have you woken up to that? Like, do you know that you guys are something different? You must.
I kind of feel like Chanel's from the future and she's kind of traveled back to get me up to speed, something like that.
Yeah, man, that's absolutely awesome. I appreciate everything you guys have done and everything you guys are doing.
One of the things she said, though, when she first met me, and this probably kind of leads to this whole, masculine idea, is she said that I was one of the most integrated men that she had met. Somebody who is very comfortable playing in all the feminine energies of creativity and expression, but at the same time has that masculine earthiness rooted in the ground. And growing up as somebody who always loved poetry and music, I didn't really see myself as masculine. It wasn't until adulthood when people said to me like, "Oh, you have a really like masculine energy." I was like, "Really? Do I always saw myself as very kind of like creative and artsy. And so it's funny how your perception of self isn't necessarily close to how other people see you. And and that's what it is really. It's this idea of being able to just be integrated, being able to just be your full self rather than like you said, the iron fist and the velvet glove, but on the same hand. You know what I mean? Like really have them coexisting.
That's wonderful. I definitely feel like you're going to be leading us into the future in a really big way. So we've got like some pretty cool things that we're working on. The Mass You Live, I'm super blessed. You're like, Bobby, we gotta collaborate on this project. So I'm super blessed that you've pulled me into that. I remember and this is sort of an open invite for all of my thought leaders and all of the aficionados and the future ready technology that we've got to take this world to. I'm compiling a legacy of leadership, and the way that it would look if for someone who's going to see it, who doesn't know who we are, they're going to get introduced to a list of people that all have offerings. They all have things to teach us. They all have things that we need to learn, mentors and coaches that will be a part of the growth of the next generation, the reason why we're here. And so, you're going to see Tariq more inside of my offerings, what I've got. There was a reason why I also wanted to pull you out and share with people what you're up to, because it's important to me to create this platform. That's really what I love to do, is to say, let's build a platform from which we can broadcast this stuff, because I know that people are going to get better by understanding the things that you've understood, that's passing the torch. And your flame doesn't get any dimmer by lighting other people's fires. So we have to build a campfire around you where everyone who needs this information, whether it be on the mindset, integration, helping them to find a poetic version of how a masculine energy can also run with its feminine vibration without it feeling like one is dampening the other. Would love to know, I already understand this a little bit, but like, what are you working on? And I know that you're building an organization within our community. So we know that that's up for what you're doing. You've created a very powerful webinar. I haven't seen that yet. Has that been released?
Yeah, that has been released. I'm actually going to mix it with a webinar that we had before, because I feel like, again, it's an integration, right? So this one was very sciencey and so on. The other one had a lot of soul. So I want to mix the two together so that, and really cut out all the fluff, because I realize that people don't necessarily have a lot of time. Everything's competing for our attention. Even this call, people are like, I could be on this call, or I could be watching a show, or I could be doing something else. Everything's competing for our attention. So I've become overly sensitive maybe to that. And I really want to make sure that people get maximum value with the least amount of time investment. Like that's what I'm all about. In fact, in all of my skills and growth of skill sets, it's all about what is the 20% that's going to unlock 80% of the results.
Nice. See, this is why I picked you as a mentor, man. And I always like to play this leapfrog with my clients, that I helped you in one area, and then I believe in you in a way that I want to learn from you as well. So would love to hear what you're concocting, or, what's in the brew. You're an alchemist, so there's got to be some magic, that spells that you're creating. And, this is your space, man. So let us know, give us an understanding, paint a picture for us, if you will.
So when you say to give you an understanding, do you mean the kind of things that are available for other people, or stuff that I'm working on like within my own life and things that are coming up for me?
Well, I guess the stuff, because that's a good question. The stuff that you're giving to our audience, the things that you're providing for us, the offers that you have for people to work with you, the depth of what's available for people to take advantage of right now, it has a really strong root in the things that you've experienced and you've grown through in this stuff. I would like to think that there's a level of authority that your experience is now producing stuff, offers, products, programs, events, and it's going to keep leading forward. If you want my personal opinion, you're going to see a lot of stuff from this guy's space, and it's probably a good idea to enlist him as a mentor. Okay, enlist him in someone is inside of your camp. As I say about people with your life path, the most powerful place to stand is right behind you, and the most dangerous place to stand is right in front of you. So if you would like to maybe take it to the conversation of what do you have to offer us? What programs are you working on? I know there's a motivation program that we really want to spend some time and energy on, but in case there's anything else in your toolkit, you know, I'd love to hear what you've got working on, or you know, what you have to offer us.
Yeah, I guess, after many years of active manifestation. So what I mean by that is, in the word attraction, you have the word action. And that's the part that a lot of people miss. They see the word attraction and they think that means, sitting all Zen-like and pulling things towards you, which of course it can. But really, without your action, you don't demonstrate to the universe that you are actually ready to step into the next version of yourself. And things don't take time to manifest, they take alignment. But often for people to come into alignment takes a lot of time. And that's why people experience it taking a lot of time to be able to become whatever or have these results show up. Actually, it's all about alignment, and it's about energy. If you understand how to shift a lot of energy in a small space of time, then you can absolutely have your results quicker. You can leapfrog, you can go exponentially, because time is nonlinear. And the more that you start believing in and investing in that exponential perspective of life, that anything is possible at any given time, and if you simply become the next version of yourself, that's what active manifestation is all about. It's not about just calling in things that you're hoping and wishing for. It's like, how are you going to change your habits, your behaviors, your thoughts, your emotions, your ideas, the way that you treat other people, the way you see yourself, your self-talk? How are you going to shift all of that into the next version of yourself? Because when you start being the next version of yourself, you will start to have the life that the next version of yourself will have. Mm-hmm. And so what I've created is an online manifestation course where you get given a new video every day, new little exercises almost every day as well, that encourage you to introspect, to look inwards, and to ask yourself a few questions that you might not normally ask, and see things from a new perspective, from a new vantage point. And as you go through this, because I've delivered these workshops all over the world at festivals and retreats, and it's a lot of information to take in one sitting, because I've learned the stuff over years. So what I've done is distilled it into what I feel are the main points, and put it together in basically an online format that drip feeds you content every day. So every day you learn a new concept, you have a couple of lessons on it, and then you move on to the next one. And then what you'll find is slowly it will start to soak into you, and you'll start to notice that you're making decisions from a different place. You're operating from a different center. And as you do, your results begin to shift. And typically, everybody has a block in one area, at least, but other areas can be really good. So maybe some people have their finances in order, but their health is suffering. Mm-hmm. People are super healthy, but they struggle in their relationships. They can't seem to find the right.
Oh, I think I got you muted there. Hold on. Back up. Yep.
All right, I think we're back.
Yep.
Yeah. So people can't find the right love connection for them. So everybody has a challenge in one area typically. And the best way that I like to put this is, your spiritual blocks are your spiritual books. So whatever you are feeling blocked in just happens to be the thing that you're currently studying. If you are blocked with your money, you are currently studying wealth. Why? So that you can impart that knowledge onto others and help them. Mm-hmm. If you are feeling lonely and you can't seem to make your relationships work, you are studying love and connection. And the reason that you are facing that is so you can graduate, and then you can teach other people what you've now learned, how you overcame it. And the thing about life is, one popular idea is it's like soul school. And what I like to say is, you'll never fail the test, but life will make you take the exam over and over again until you pass. And that's why you have, for example, I know friends who've personally been in very abusive relationships, like physically abusive relationships with a guy, and then that relationship ends, they get into another relationship that's also physically abusive, and then that relationship goes on for some months, and then that ends and they get into another relationship that's also physically abusive. And they say to me, like, what are the odds? How is it that I can attract 3 physically abusive men? And I'm like, there is some lesson in there of self-worth that hasn't been passed yet. Once you raise your standard to the point of, I will no longer tolerate or accept that, the lesson is integrated. You no longer have to take the test again. And so when things show up in your life in a form of pattern, then there is a test there and there are lessons there that need to be learned. And so basically what I'm doing is breaking down these abstract and often uh, conceptual ideas into simple to understand analogies and frameworks that people just go, I never heard it put like that before. I get it.
Unreal. It's so cool to hear you speak, man, because I feel like you're iterating a lot of the things that I've experienced and that I've grown from and grown through, and like the stuff that I'm bringing to the table. It's like there's a divine level of knowledge that's happening, that we're coming together and we're bringing this to the world. So this is why I really believe a lot in what you're doing, because I have to agree with you. Like those same patterns are going to show up until we're ready to deal with it. And this is something that I really believe in, and I help people with a lot. And I kept on attracting women who would cheat on me. Like I kept on attracting like faithless women who just took advantage of me. And then I realized back in 2010, if I don't love myself, this is going to keep happening. And I'm going to keep on reflecting other people who also don't love me the way that I don't love myself. And I had to recognize, and at that point, I became a bit more selfish, a bit more of that. I've got to do this for me. I got to really stand in my own power. And I started attracting, a lot less relationships, because I was in a relationship with myself, and I was like, I will accept a lot less. And I went through this cold spell, and then I met my Sally, and the rest is history, and it clicked. But I had to revitalize that relationship with myself. And a lot of people are like, how do I make that money? How do I make that relationship? How do I create that? And I like to think we have to go within to do that. And to hear you say that is a huge spiritual validation. So tell us about this program. So this is you do this on a retreat situation. You'll do this in an event. You can do this one-on-one with someone. You've come up with the manifestation course, or the motivation course. So this is a 30-day program of drip-fed information. Does this exist like, can someone hire you as a mentor and like get them to do this with you one-on-one? Or is it not really there yet? Or what are we thinking?
So basically the way that the course is, well, first of all, to bring it into, current tech, it's responsive. It works on your smartphone or on your laptop. And basically you will receive new content every day. The content has been studio recorded. It's then been professionally edited. There's text overlays, there's image overlays. So basically, as you're watching it, it's soaking in on a number of different levels.
Cool.
So these videos are designed for busy people. They are literally 5 to 10 minutes long. They are not particularly long, but they're very full of information. And they're the kind of things that you can watch back a couple of times to really get all of the different aspects here. And then there's a couple of questions where you start to then relate that to your own life to find out, okay, how are you not showing up? What can you do differently? What can you do better? And so as you go through this course, you will integrate a lot of these concepts of how you manifest. You start to realize how manifestation works in a much more in-depth, much more holistic way than maybe was presented in documentaries such as The Secret. And really bringing it up to speed with all of the experiential knowledge that has taken place in my life over the years. And right now I'm manifesting all kinds of stuff into my experience, and it's happening really quickly because, again, it doesn't take time, it just takes alignment. And if you can get yourself aligned, right? I call it preparing for the role. Like, it doesn't matter whether you have the part or not, prepare for the role. When I decided I wanted to get into public speaking, the first thing that I decided to do was prepare that talk. Nobody was looking for a speaker. I just prepared the talk. And once the talk was prepared, the speaking gig followed.
Wow.
And this is where people, I feel, trip up, is they wait for the results. They're like, well, when I get the gig, then I'm going to start learning to play the piano. It's like, it does not work that way, because there's a wonderful quote, which is, luck is where, or success is where, oh gosh, yes, luck is where preparation meets skill. So if you have a skill and you prepare for it, suddenly you'll find that you're way luckier and opportunities will just, see, there we go. Chanel, my voice of reason in the background. Opportunity is where? Yeah, okay. Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. But basically, the idea is, a lot of people want to manifest and they want to create these results, but they're waiting for things to show up externally in their lives before they do their part in becoming ready for the role. And so, for example, for me, like, I'm getting into acting. And I'm not just, when I say I'm getting into acting, I don't just mean it like I'm putting it out there to the universe. I mean, I have acting courses that I'm following online. We're here in Spain right now. I'm attending an acting course. I'm shooting my show reel. I'm working on monologues. So I'm doing my bit to prepare myself for the role. And what I'm noticing in a crazy way is, as I'm doing this, actual acting opportunities are now coming my way. So all of this is just reinforcing everything that we're talking about. You know, you have to, it's like you have to pass the test in order to graduate and no longer take the test again. You also have to step into the role of who you are. So if you want to be an athlete, you have to start behaving as an athlete would.
Mm-hmm.
And the doing becomes an echo of who you are being. So don't focus on the individual actions, focus on the identity. Who are you becoming? Who is this new you? What are their values? What makes them tick? What are they no longer willing to tolerate? And then you'll find that the actions and the behaviors will naturally spill out from that like ripples in a pond.
This is so cool. I'm because me and my Sally right now, we're studying things about, the brain waves that broadcast from what you observe, and they say this is the observer effect. What you focus on expands. They can't even do double blind tests, because when you focus on something, it starts to be affected by the person who's actually appreciating it. So in this case, what you're saying is, if you build it, they will come. And if you set up shop, suddenly the vibration wants to reverberate the same way you'd scream into a mountain. It's going to come back and echo back to you. So sorry, go for it.
No, I was just going to say, there's been so many examples. I was working with someone who was in an abusive relationship, and she was saying to me that she really wanted to move out, but she couldn't because she had nowhere to move to. And I said, okay, look, don't shoot me if this goes wrong, but my recommendation is, you're not able to see the solution right now because you're embroiled in the problem, right? You need to change the environment. I was like, why don't you just hire a moving company and move out? And she was like, but I don't know where I'm going to move to. I was like, it doesn't matter. Just make the choice. And no jokes, I remember taking this call. I was like late for a plane. The gate was about to close, but I was like, this is really important. I need to see her through this. And she hired a moving company, and she started to put her stuff on the van. And she got a call from a friend of hers that said, hey, I'm in town for a week. Would you like to come and stay with me? And again, from there, it just linked to other, chain reaction of events. But it all started with that choice. Again, there was another client who wanted to manifest love in her life. It turns out that there was a death in the family. Her father had died, and she had kind of taken on the role as the provider in the family for her mother, and kind of become, in a way, like the father in the family, like the patriarch. And I said, well, it's clear energetically, there's no room for a guy to enter into your life, right? Like, where is he physically going to fit? you need to clear some space for him. So she got an apartment and she cleared out half her cupboard and said, this is going to be his, you know what I mean? When he moves in, that's where he's going to put his shoes. That's where he's going to put his shirt. And I mean, these concepts sound esoteric, but companies do this. When they want to advertise a new position, what do? They go get a new desk, a new computer. They physically put it in the office, and then someone will fill the position. They don't wait until somebody applies, gets the job, and then they buy the computer and the desk. So concepts maybe are commonplace or obvious for some people, but they're very uncommon and unobvious for other people. And so what I'm doing is my best to distill this information in an experiential sequence where we also have a Facebook group where we can all talk about who this next version of ourselves is that we're becoming, identify what the key behaviors, attitudes, attributes are of this person, find an accountability buddy, and step into that role. Because if we want to manifest our 2020 vision, we need to step into our 2020 version of ourselves.
Woo. Dude, you're going to be a vital core piece of someone's success story. I promise you that. You're going to create millionaires, and absolutely a wonderful way to do that. I'm glad that you showed up for this, because the world needs this, and we need this information now. And the fact that you're showing up with this, we're super blessed and very grateful to have you, man, because, you know, we're ready to evolve. I think I am anyway.
Yeah, I feel like we all are. We're all in this collective evolution together, you know. Nature takes millions of years to evolve, but the beautiful thing about consciousness is you can engineer that evolution intentionally. You can choose to evolve.
Absolutely. This is so super cool. So, okay, tell us about this program a little bit more. So give us some of the logistical details. Where is it going to be? How do we get it? You know, what are some of the things you want us to know about taking this program, this course? What do you call it? Give us the who, what, where, when, and why, and fill in the gaps there for us.
All right. So it's called Reality Creationeer. Manifest your 2020 vision.
Cool.
And it takes place in it's in this beautiful digital platform. I can put the link in the chat, or I can give you the link and we can give it to everybody. It literally launches tomorrow. So tomorrow the first bit of content gets released, and we start with the, you know, right from ground zero. The first bit is law of attraction. So what that is, but again, explain in a very no nonsense, very easy to understand way, because I believe one of my gifts when it comes to communication is being able to take difficult or complex subject matter and make it simple and understandable and easy to digest. And so that is
where you go. Can we get that link in real quick so I can put it on the chat inside of the Facebook?
Yeah, 1 minute.
You can put it in the Zoom chat here. And if anybody's on the Zoom and you guys are wanting to ask any questions, you can put your hand up. You can message the chat. If you'd like to unmute yourself or get unmuted, I can unmute you if you want to pose any questions to Tariq. I do have the Facebook chat up as well, but you guys have your chance now to connect with us. Sometimes it's just us doing the filming. Sometimes we have an audience. So this is literally an actual broadcast. So I've got this. I'm going to put the link inside of the Facebook chat. So we're going to see it there. Can I see it? Let's give me here a copy, and I'll do here a paste. So yeah, so I posted in there. Sorry, yeah, Tariq, keep going.
No, I was going to say, like, one of the things that I feel is most exciting, and one of the things that I've understood is that really everything is in proportion to the level of value that you create. And the people who are the most successful are the ones who are creating the most value for the most amount of people. And the more that we broaden our reach and touch and impact more lives, the more that our lives fill up as a result. And so what I wanted to do with this course really is make it available to everybody. I didn't want anybody going, it's too expensive, I can't do it. And initially, the price for release was going to be $340, which I've seen comparative courses that are maybe not even as fully fleshed out go for that. And then I thought, okay, a friend's rate of $199 would be like really good. And then, you know what? I thought, it's the end of 2019. It's the end of a decade. It's not even the end of a year. It's the end of a decade. Like, people don't get how big that is, right? We're about to enter into a whole new decade. And that's why I call, like, 2020 vision is not just about seeing clearly. It's about seeing your future clearly, seeing the next version of yourself clearly. And I wanted as many people as possible to be able to experience this, because it's like, it's no fun if nobody gets to play with it. You know what I mean? You don't want to cook this lavish meal and just sit there and eat it on your own. You want to share it with people. And so what I wanted to do, and also inspired by your numerology, I was like, okay, what can I give it for that it'll be like a no-brainer for people, that they'll go, you know what, even if I just get one thing from this, it'll make it all worth it. Because it's taken me years to get this knowledge, to be able to dissect and share this knowledge in this way, and then have it all shot and edited and everything like that. So, drum roll, I'm releasing the whole course, and it might go up in the future, but I'm doing it now for the people who take advantage of this, end of decade offer, for $88.
That's insane. I just went to there and I'm like, are you kidding me? This is massive levels of value for 88 bucks. I can't even, what I wanted to do was I was like, well, I'm going to chip in. I want to chip in and I want to help people get a little bit of motivation on this. So wow is right. I tell you guys straight up, like, to have this in your pocket every single day, moving this forward, this is going to be completely amazing. We're getting comments here. Your site looks amazing. I'll put, for those of you guys who are watching the replay or watching this on the channels, you'll see it in the description. For those of you on Facebook, you can see it there. Register now. Your phone's about to blow up. I promise you that. But I wanted to put in a special, like, combo offer. Okay, so for those of you who book a 90-minute session with me, I'm going to pay for your program. Okay. If you go in on a 3-session mentorship package with me, I'm going to give one for you, and I'm also going to give one for a friend of yours. So I want to invest inside of this to make this alliance with you as well, just because I believe in what you're saying. I believe in what you're doing, and more people need to understand this. But I just have to warn you, you've motivated me and inspired me to create something like this. So one day I'm going to show up and it's going to have my own thing in there. But what I have to offer for you guys now is to think, if you're going to take advantage of this, absolutely do so. I will literally give you a 1-month subscription to this, or I guess it's just 1 month. It's just that's just what it is. So it's a 90-minute version with me that you'll get a chance to, I will plug into this. We'll call this the Bobby and Tariq combo. And if you go in for a 3-session mentorship package with me, that's just www.createloveandwealth.xyz, and you can book in yours with me. Just say, hey, I want the Tariq 2020 vision deal, and you have to mention it in the comments, and I will absolutely make sure, because I want to help this guy get your vision out there. It's going to be a very powerful feeling, but really, really cool to see this, man. I'm really appreciative of you.
Thank you so much, and this is really such a pleasure, and thank you for those beautiful comments there that I saw coming up on the screen. One thing I'll say is, if you go to the site at the moment, you'll see curriculum. It has about 9 modules. It's going to be a lot more than that, right? It's currently being populated, so don't think that that's the whole course. There's more coming. As I said, there's already like 26 videos that are already recorded, edited. Everything is done. It's just currently going up on the site, and then I'm going to add some extra stuff to there as well. I want this to be such insane value that people go like, wow, that was amazing. And then a whole bunch more people want to go through that experience in January, and then grow it from there. So right now, I just want to get people playing with it, and really get everybody in that collaborative, co-creative, collective space in the Facebook group, and everybody get really clear on who their next version of themselves is. Find an accountability buddy and start to activate that, because that's really where it becomes powerful. When you become the next version of yourself. Like, I don't normally have a beard. I'm growing this because I said I'm going to play a Middle Eastern warrior in a movie. And so I started to prepare for it, started hitting the gym, getting myself in preparation for that. And the craziest thing happened. A director contacts me and literally gives me the role that was like written for me. Wow. Right? Like, what inspired me to learn parkour in the first place was a game called Assassin's Creed. And Assassin's Creed is this Middle Eastern guy who runs up walls and jumps off rooftops and stuff, right? And he was like, okay, we're making this movie. it's like Assassin's Creed, but more in depth. And, because you have this blend of parkour skills, and now I see that you're getting into acting and you have the right look. Let's talk about this. And so it's happening. So I'm flying to Turkey in January to shoot the concept and pitch for the feature. And yeah, man, that manifested real quick. 2 months ago or 3 months ago, I said I'm getting into acting, and here we are. So manifestation works. I'm talking from experience. And if I can help you on your journey so that you can create more of the stuff that you want in your life, or create more of the you that you want in your life, then I feel I'm pretty well suited to help you achieve that. And I'm just looking forward to all playing together. And I think for $88, like it's gonna be the best deal that you have this year or
Wow,
this
man.
decade.
Yeah, this is going to be really cool. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get enrolled in this program. I'm going to take it. Me and my wife are going to go through it. And then we're going to come back and we're going to continue this conversation for a round two in like 35 to 45 days, whatever it is, a month and a half, however long it takes us to get through it. And then that way we can have, I can give you my hands-on, full-on review, full-on testimonial of this program, and then we can take it even further there. So it starts tomorrow. As I say, guys, you book in with me in 90 minutes or a 3-session mentorship. I will gift you a fully paid version of this. So just let me know that you're going to do that. If you're just going to register for the program, that's fine. But I do want to extend this offer to you guys because I believe in you, man. And I really do think that you've got a lot of power to help us get through to the next, thing that we need to do. So I wish you so much blessing on your journey and your path, and for your next roles, and what you're going to do and what you're going to do next. It's going to be a powerful space. I'd love to sort of end this with a powerful question or two, just to really help people. As you put it, they distill from this conversation, as a way of understanding. What advice would you give to someone who feels like they're challenged, blocked, limited, they're saturated in the stuff that's happening inside of them? What would you say to that person who needs a bit of motivation or inspiration to help get them through?
Sure. I mean, I just want to say also, just because I understand the mechanics of manifestation, it doesn't mean that I don't get blocked or stuck or challenged. Quite the opposite, actually. I think when you openly walk into the fire, right? Like fire is the crucible that separates the silver from the dross. And when I chose that name for myself in that numerology session with you, Tariq, EQ Amawi, I knew that it was going to come with challenges. If you want a safe, comfortable life, you don't go for numbers like that. And I've got to say, it really has hit me. Like there's all kinds of challenges that have come with it. But what I realize is ultimately, if you are in the problem level, which means you have your head way down here and you're very contracted in your energy and everything is all about me, and you're in survival, very rarely will you be able to find or see the solutions that are around you. And there are solutions around you, you just can't see them because you are literally on a different wavelength. You are tuned into a different channel. You can't watch sports and comedy at the same time, right? Like that's kind of how it is. And so what you need to do first is get yourself out of there. And that could be as simple as go for a run, do some training, do some push-ups, listen to some music and dance, something that physically moves energy through your body. Once you do that, then find a way of creating value in the lives of others. Because when it comes to blockages, it's usually about having or experiencing something that we want. And in order to have, you need to generate the energy of having. In order to pull more towards you, you need to generate the energy of already having. But people don't realize that when they say like, oh, but I don't have the money to give, I don't have the whatever to give, it's like you have your attention, you have your presence, you have an ear with which to listen with, you have a shoulder that someone can cry on, you have your arms that you can hug somebody, you have your presence, you have your attention. If you just give of these things freely, openly, then you are broadcasting the energy of having. Because in order to give, you first have to have. And it doesn't matter what you're giving, just give something, right? And typically, whatever you want more of, give more of that. So if you want more love, show more love. You want more kindness, be a kinder person. And if you start just giving and finding ways to create exponential value, because if you can help one or two people, that's great. But if you can then turn that into a way of helping a bunch of people, then suddenly I think you'll find that doors will open up where previously there were walls. And you will start to find that opportunities will find their way to you by virtue of who you are being, because you are no longer thinking in survival. You move out of those survival centers and start to come from service. So you go from me to we. And as you make that shift, you move from old paradigm to new paradigm. And therefore, you kind of position yourself wave of consciousness that's currently sweeping over the planet. And when you step out of yourself and realize that it's not all about you, in fact, it's not about you at all. It's about how you can impact other people. Your life is about other people, and everything that you want, whether it's money, whether it's opportunity, whether it's anything, always comes to you from the hands of other people. And so when you realize that we are all intrinsic tied together, you can go to a party alone, but you are never alone because you're there with everybody else. That's the big misconception that everybody has these days, this invisible segregation that takes place in the mind. Actually, we're all in this together. If you've succeeded in any way in your life, it's been because of other people. There's nobody who succeeds on their own, nobody who stands tall on their own. Everybody is carried and lifted on the hands of other people who came before them. And so when you realize that you're part of this intricate dance, this big choreography that takes place nature-wide, when you start to become a part of that, and you take place in the symbiotic nature of nature and start to help people to grow like nature does, then you yourself will experience that growth and nature will reciprocate onto you.
That's awesome. I appreciate you so much for that. It's such a value of wisdom. We've got people fired up in the chat. There's so many. This is going to change a lot for a lot of people. I appreciate you so much for being here, my friend. I bless your path and bless your path with so much abundance and wealth and success. And I know that we're on this journey together. We got people inside of my guys are saying, looking forward to it. Sally's saying, love this topic. Your site looks amazing. Definitely will be taking your course. Registered, ready, can't wait, definitely ready. You've created a fire, okay? So just want to let you know that we're moving ourselves forward now. This is absolutely epic. I thank you guys so much for watching. Just to recap, the website's going to be there. We're going to put it. You got to find a smaller link that I can just quickly say. I can't just be like Tariq S /s/school/ yeah, like it's a long thing. So I can't. Is there a tiny URL? We'll go tiny. Yeah, we'll come up with a small one. Let's put it tinyurl.com / Creationeer manifest your 2020 vision, and then that way you can get it there. I'll put the link in the description. Reach out to me. I've got that for you as a gift with your 90-minute or 3-session booking with me, and we're gonna take this to the next level. So thank you guys so much for watching once again. This is the solution artist Bobby at Parihar with my good buddy Tariq EQ Amawi. I appreciate you, bro. This has been an absolutely epic power conversation. You share this message, guys. You saw the video here. Share the video. People need to see this. Take the course. Post your own reviews on it as well. Let's spread this knowledge forward, and we'll see what happens next. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. You have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye.